Hey guys, what's cracking? Welcome back to another clan collection reveal. So then, what do we got today? Well, we got three sets of reveals to talk about. We've got one card for Shadow Paladin, as well as the three new OTT cards, and perhaps most excitingly, the three new Aqua Force cards. Finally, but going in order, let's start with the Shadow Paladin card. So, I was on the copium for Blaster Dark Revenger, not gonna lie, but instead we got this lovely lady, which is a new witch card, Witch of Curse Talisman Etain. So what does she do? First effect is an auto, which is that when this unit on Van Circle is attacked, or when she's placed on the Guardian Circle, so two very different utilities and timings there, retire two of your rear guards with Witch in their card names, choose one of your opponent's stand rear guards, and retire it. The second effect is a rear-only skill, which is a continuous that states, if your Vanguard is a witch, it cannot be chosen by effects, gets intercept, and power plus 5k. I'm gonna be like straight with y'all. This isn't a big poggers reveal. So yes, for the one or two kids in the classroom who was actually really looking forward to witch support, you got your card. But looking at this objectively, it's only decent. So yes, the main skill is a cool poggers retire skill, and that can be really cool in some matchups. For instance, if you're using this against, say, Link Joker, which has, or like Messiah, this is really strong. You're able to get rid of Volcagoats. That said, the reliance on retiring two witches makes it very hard to pull off. Generically speaking, you could, in theory, call a Skull Witch Nemain off of a Nemain, and those are your two witches right there. But of course, do you want to retire Nemains for this? Yeah, that's really debatable. You could also, if you're playing a blaster-oriented deck in Premium, use Bruner as the cost, because Bruner counts as two sacrifices as long as your Vanguard's a blaster. But I think we can see where we're going with this, because that's even just in the premium aspect. And premium is where this is going to be more useful, because as a Vanguard in V, this has no offensive potential. As a rear guard, it's kind of neat, but it's not like any sort of big win con or any big boost for witches. And witches have a variety of problems. They are consistent, right? I will grant them that. They are pretty consistent, and their gimmick is really unique, but it's a bad gimmick, because to call grade zeros to your opponent's field, you don't have enough ways of doing it, and there's no real big payoff for that gimmick. Sure, you get another Vanguard technically, but it's no big deal. And you have no real big offensive push that can be qualified as a win condition. We don't know how we win in witches. This is not how you win. This is just stalling out the game even more until you presumably lose. So this support is cool, but it's not what they needed. In Premium, it's a little bit better, because you can just always stride over this and have this be just a defensive Vanguard during the opponent's turn. That is worth it. That is pretty cool in Premium, but it's still not enough if you ask me. So overall, Etain, she does have her uses. Don't get me wrong, she does. But it's mostly just Premium uses. And that just goes between being able to be a defensive unit and your strides to the offense, but also just the fact that she can be an attacker that is immune to G-Guard interference, like let's say Denial Griffin and whatnot. So because of that, she is cooler in Preem, but even then it's like, you're not really boosting it enough. To really improve witches, we need to give them a win con, and until we do, it just kind of falls flat. Not gonna lie. And it's a little sad, because this was the last Shadow Paladin reveal, which, you know, Shadows are my main clan, but I'll be real with y'all. We already got spoiled with Ildona and Dragulor, two of like some of the strongest cards that were released in this set. So I think it's fair to give Shadows a not so great card once in a while. So hey, you know what? Fair play to you. But does she have potential in the future? Maybe, maybe not. We'll have to see. Anyway, let's move on to the next reveal. And we're back. Oh yeah, it is time for Heresy. We got ourselves Fromage Reverse, which I'm not sure how many people predicted this to be the OTT reverse unit, but for those of you who out there who actually predicted that, you get a cookie, because you were correct. And we got a couple more Battle Sisters to go over. These ladies actually pretty nice. So looking at them from the bottom, we're going to start with the grade 1, which is Battle Sister Coco. So Coco has two skills. The first one being that an auto, when she's rode over, you can call it a rear circle. Nice. Second skill, Act on rear. You rest this card. That probably is going to make it good, because a lot of these act rest this units only skills tend to be really good, especially in V. You look at the top card of your deck, and you get to either top deck it or bot deck it. If you bot deck it, then one of your units is going to get 3k on a turn. Go back to that in a bit. Battle Sister Mocha is your new grade 2. Mocha has 2 skills as well, the first one being an auto. When this unit is rode upon, you Soul Blast 1 to peep top 2, you add 1 to the hand, and top or bottom deck the other. That's cool that you get to top or bottom deck it. The second skill is a continuous on the rear circle and guardian circle. If you have 3 or more units with Battle Sisters in their card names, and different card names mind you, she gets 5k power and 5k shield. Then, if you have 4 or more cards in hand, you're also able to get an additional 5k power on top of that, making her effectively a 19k continuously. Now, the third card is, of course, Fromage Reverse. Heretic Battle Sister. Cool name. I like that. And, of course, the artwork. They're doing pretty good, the artwork. Not the strongest artwork, to be real, but hey, you know what? Still pretty nice. So, 2 skills for Fromage Reverse. First one being that during your turn, all of your Battle Sisters get power plus 5k for each of your locked cards. This includes the Vanguard herself. The second one is a big one. It's an act on Van once per turn, so you counterblast 1 and discard a card from your hand. You look at the same number of cards from the top of your deck as the number of Battle Sisters in their different card names on your field. You choose any number of them to top deck them. You bot deck the rest, so essentially just choose the order in which they go to the top and the bottom, and then you're able to lock 1 or more of your rear cards with Battle Sisters in their different card names. Again, with the different card name thing, that's going to be important. And for each card locked for this cost, you draw a card. Okay, so taking this all in, this is really nice consistency for Battle Sisters. We see like a really big theme with the top decking and bot decking thing, so you have more control than ever in being able to get those crit triggers. That is really nice, and it's really nice for one big reason. Her name, of course, is the other grade 2, which is Trifle. Trifle is a guard restrict. Sure, you have to Soul Blast a grade 3 for it, but you can do that. Trifle is essentially going to be your version of Hamiel. Now, it's not going to be as big as Hamiel, but keep in mind, there's a lot of different ways to buff them. You're able to buff with the effect of Coco, which puts her as a 12 base. That's important. You're also able to give her a potential like 15 off of Fromage Reverse. That's making her 27. And then you're able to stack crit triggers. So when you're using all these stacking effects, you're able to peer into the future a lot and presumably stack, say, a couple crits. So when you stack 2 crits on this, you're able to then put her up to 47k and 3 damage potentially. That's starting to get kind of dicey because of the freaking guard restrict. And if that wasn't enough, she already gets power from owner effect, I believe, although I'm not sure. But even if not, you do get to just give her a booster, maybe like an 8k booster. So an 8k booster can then push her up to like 55 plus, whatever. The point is, she is sort of like a pseudo Hamiel for your deck. And so this didn't need to be a win condition. This just needed to support your actual win condition being Trifle, which is perfect. Now, yes, the discarding of a card and the counterblast is a pretty like sizable like oof, but if you're presumably locking 3 cards, then you get to draw 3, and you probably will draw 3, which, yeah, okay, then you're not going to have a booster for your Trifle, unless you're going to be that guy and then just like lock a front row and then just keep an entire column for Trifle so you can really smack hard. In the late game, when your opponent's only got like 1 or 2 damage to give, that could be the smartest way to go about it, so you don't give them a chance to hit those defensive triggers, right? This is all culminating pretty well. And of course, Mocha is a good consistency card in the sense that she's able to peep top 2 as a Windwater pawn. The Soul Blast is nothing, really, but she's also just good shield and good power. So even if you don't have Trifle lined up, you still have good aggression. This is a good power line because this is a 19, and then you can give her another 15. Coco, similarly, can give 3k, making any of your 9s 12, or if you're in the Force matchup, you could also make your Vanguard into a 15, and that will be really important because now she's able to get over the Force thresholds and threaten even bigger. That means that they're going to have to throw more, like they're gonna have to throw an extra 5k into their shield to no passes, so 25 instead of just 20, or just any other number of variables depending on how you've built up your columns. This just is good support, I'll be real. Maybe not to the point where it's going to break Battle Sisters or anything. I keep on saying that for a lot of decks. Not every support is supposed to be super meta relevant, right? But this set has been pretty big on giving us like cool cards, and I think this like is a strong package overall. It knows its win con. It gives you a lot of consistency elements. It gives you more power. It gives you good stacking, which is the nice X factor that OTT has been known for. And of course, they look you know, pretty, you know. So this is all just to culminate in really, really solid support. I like these Battle Sisters, and I hope y'all in the audience do as well, because it seems like Bushy did put in some effort into this one. But we've got one more reveal tonight, and I'm most excited about this one. See you there. All right, on to the final reveal of the night, and we finally got our Aqua Force, and it's Ripples, baby. Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, Rip Transcore, but Ripples. As you'll see in the thumbnail, Oddyseus go burr. I'll have to explain that a bit, but for those of you who don't know Premium very much, although I'm mainly a V Premium channel to be real, I still, like, the fact that we got the Ripples is so cool. Finally, Aqua Force gets their ride line, and they're really, really good. So for all of us who have been anticipating just dying of drought out here because we didn't get our water boys or sailors, well, they paid us back in full for that wait. So starting with the grade 1 of the ride chain, which yes, Ripples are ride chain for those of you who don't know. That means that your grade 1 goes to your grade 2, goes to your grade 3 in a very like consistent way where you get bonuses as long as you've got like the previous in soul. So this is how this ride chain is going to work. Satorio has the sort of obligatory ride chain effect as a grade 1, where when it's placed on Van Circle, you're able to add your grade 2 or your grade 3 of the chain. In this case, it's Pavroth or Genovius from the top 7, and then you add it to the hand and shuffle. If you get nothing, you get nothing, whatever. The second effect is a pretty simple one, which is on rear circle, once per turn, if you stand it by a card ability, it gets plus 5k until end of turn. Neat. Pavroth continues the chain. On it, it's got 2 effects as well. The second one, I'll just get it out of the way first. It's the same as Satorio, that is to say, it gets 5k once per turn if you stand it by an ability. But its main effect is that it's got a Van/RC effect. So as whether it's a Vanguard or rear guard, this is cool. You get to Soul Blast 1 when it attacks in order to peep top 7 and add a Genovius from your deck to your hand. Cool, even more searchability. And if it's on rear circle, you put into the soul at the end of the battle. Now that may seem a little suck if you Soul Blast and like whiff and then you like suck this guy up, but keep in mind this is a ride line. So if for whatever reason you didn't manage to ride this guy, or he's just coming in late, this is a way of putting him into the soul, and that's going to be super relevant when we go over Genovius. Speaking of which, let's talk about him. Genovius, the big man himself, has got 2 effects, and yes, he's got the Excel marker. That's important. Genovius 2 effects. First one being act once per turn on Van Circle. You Soul Blast 1 to peep top 5, choose 1 card from among them, call it to rear and shuffle your deck. Damn, that's just straight up feels like a gold paladin effect. So the second skill is an auto on Van. When this unit attacks, if you have no stand front row units, kind of feels like old Revan actually, counter blast 1, choose 1 of your rear guards and stand it. All right, and if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, aka limit break, you stand all of your rear guards, including the back row ones. All of them. Eat your heart out, Ethics Extreme. You're just being more and more cucked by the day. I'm sorry, bro. If your soul has the Pavroth, aka the grade 2 of the ride chain, all of your units that stand by this effect get plus 5k until end of turn. Holy stinking super crap. This is a really cool card. Yes, Genovius is a field restand. And yes, in addition to being like the pinnacle of the ride line for Aqua Force, which is surprisingly generic if you splash it in, no pun intended, into some different variants like Revan and whatnot. He also stands really well on his own as like having that super devastating limit break. This is how you do limit break, folks. This is powerful AF. And when you combine this 5k that you give to all those units with effects like say Satorio's and Pavros, you get something pretty strong, because now, let's say for instance, you've got this Pavroth here. Now this Pavroth, let's say he's on an Excel 2. So he swings first for 14. Then when he stands by the effect of Genovius Limit Break, you not only get 5k from his own effect, you also get 5k from the effect of Genovius. That means now he's swinging for 24, assuming there's no trigger spawn on him. That means he swings over defensives on the second go around. That is really cool. The timing of Genovius's effect is also really cool because it makes a couple different elements that you can run in the deck more viable. Essentially, when you're swinging, you're going to use up all of your rear guard swings, then go with Van and restand your field again. Because of this, that means that front triggers are very viable in this deck, very much like how it's viable in Thavis, because now you have just a massive amount of power going everywhere to just beat down the opponent. Another thing that's really useful to note is that Riptide Dragon is a really important card. Riptide being this huge Unga Bunga beater that only attacks if it's the 4th battle or more. So you're able to reuse your Riptides. You can also reuse your Coral Salts. Every time that swings, if you have 4 or more rested like units, you're able to give it plus 15k. That's a really cool way to have more beaters. On top of the fact that Coral Salt moves the soul to draw, which effectively makes the Soul Blast cost free in the turn. So you have a lot of ways to reuse your beaters, and I know it's a little bit tricky to talk about Riptide because Riptide being the 4th attack means that on your first grade 3 turn, if you don't have any restanders, you can't do Riptide, which means you can't use Genovia's effect. So if you're doing Riptide, I caution you, do run cards like Terrific Coil, maybe Wheel Assault, maybe Propulsion Dragon, just multi-attack enablers so that you can get to the 4th attack without having to go to the Vanguard attack yet. That's important. Now, okay. Let's talk about the Elephant Room, Odysseus. Odysseus is a premium card, and this is premium talk, so if you're not into premium, then you can probably skip past this part. But the thing about Odysseus is it lets you ride a Ripple from the deck and in exchange for whatever your current Vanguard is, so it's the same grade. What this means is we've been waiting so long for Genovia's to get reprinted, or rather retrained with an Excel marker, because that means that since you can now use Odysseus to selectively ride Genovia's, not once per turn by the way, the more Odysseus you have, the more you can do this, you can ride Genovia's from the deck, meaning by you just get more Excel markers. So just call Odysseus, get Genovia's, call another Odysseus, get another Genovia's, more and more Excels. The rush potential that is insane. And you also have Unruly Ripple to be a potential beater strategy with you. So Ripples are just prime. They're teaming with the ability to just abuse Genovia's and these other Ripples. This is quite incredible. So in terms of premium, this could in fact break the game a little bit. There have already been people calling for a pre-ban of Odysseus because the ability to get 2 to 4 Excel markers in a turn is just quite frankly absurd, but it is there, and because it is there, Bushy may have to address this forthwith. Otherwise, we could see Aqua Force going, funnily enough, to a tier 1 if not tier 0 position. So yeah, this is cracked. Bushy held no punches in making the Ripples. They did not like try to balance this much. They like, of course, it's balanced in V Premium, and I think in V Premium these have solid potential, generically or not generically. Although it may not be able to topple Thavas or Maelstrom, that remains to be seen. But in Premium, this is a big freaking deal, dude. So yeah, overall, excellent reveals here. This keeps totally in theme with the effects of what the old ride line does, and there's a lot of potential here. These cards feel pretty solid generically speaking. You could just run this ride line and, I don't know, Cobalt Wave, Revon can potentially use this. There's different approaches you can take with it. It's not super splashable, but it's splashable enough that you can see a lot of different variations going for it. And yeah, I'm pretty hype about this. We waited for so long, but this was worth it. So I hope things go well over in Premium. As for V, my boy FourthFall is probably going to be attending the next fight night and showing off the power of these Ripples. So for those of you who actually watch my fight nights, they're not exactly the most well-performing videos, I'll admit. Do stay tuned for that, because I really want to get him on board to show just how good these cards are, because oh boy, he's having fun having a limit break in V Aqua Force, let's just say. Alright, well, that's going to do it for today. If you guys like this video and you want to see more Vanguard content from me, then do subscribe down below and put on that notification bell, and it'll ring to tell you when I next post. Like I said, look forward to the next fight night, and also look forward to the final reveal of the set being the Link Jokers that'll come out on the Tuesday stream. That's it. That's going to be the last set of reveals. And afterwards, I'm just going to say right now, we're going to be talking about deck profiles, aka Spectral Duke is getting that updated deck list. Look forward to that. And also, we're going to see something from our boy Drag Ruler, and perhaps even something else or another. No, I'm not confident on it yet, so I'll keep it shrouded in mystery. Well, I've held you guys up long enough. Take care, everyone, and God bless.